Welcome to the quarterly meeting of the DarienTV Advisory Committee. We are going to go into open session and we will return shortly.
We're going into executive session, and you have a
What
motion
is,
to do that, Mr. Chairman. You
do
said
I have a
open
motion
session.
do I have do I have a motion to move into executive session?
So moved.
Seconded.
So we're out of executive session. Do I hear a motion to approve the proposal?
Yeah, I'd like to suggest that we approve the DNR proposal for the control room and AV systems upgrades.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Great.
5-0. Great. All right. Next on the agenda, the future of the website. And Mr. Cameron, your thoughts of sunsetting Vimeo.
Oh, I'd be looking forward to doing that very quickly, sir. There's no reason that we have Vimeo aside from feeding our website. And we could feed shows on the website just as easily by linking them to YouTube.
100%.
So, Mike, I'm a believer. So, one less step, we could just produce our programs, upload them to YouTube. There are showcases available within YouTube. There'll be a certain amount of education for viewers, perhaps to, find stuff in there. But the website doesn't need to be as intense as it is now using this Vimeography product where it's sucking in a show from Vimeo and showing it on the website. I think what would be simpler would just be a website that really points everybody over to YouTube and then has some FAQs and, click here to subscribe to the newsletter, etc. But I think it could be a much simpler website. However, I would like to have somebody of some professional standing make this website, and I think the summertime would be a great time to start getting our ducks together on that particular effort.
Well, we got 3 years ago or 2 years ago when we looked at this, because the way the current website is built, its hooks are into Vimeo, and it's not, I understand, easy to just unleash one hook and hook it up to YouTube. It requires a redesign of the website. When I reached out to the person who did the New Canaan website, the price we got was $25,000.
No, we don't need to go that way. Theirs is a much more sophisticated site, I think, because they're linking to Vimeo as well too, and they don't show their meetings on the website itself. But I think all we need is a website that says, "Here's all the information about DarienTV, and all of our meeting videos are available on YouTube. Here's a link to the advisory board of conservation and the advisory board on sidewalks and planning and zoning, and then that'll take them through that link to the showcase within YouTube. The
Perfect.
most recent show will be at the top, a playlist, as it were, and all the archived shows will be underneath. So I think it'll be much simpler in terms of the user experience,
Yeah,
probably better.
the website becomes static effectively because
Yep,
we're pointing to the showcases on YouTube, and YouTube is what's the dynamic piece of it.
exactly. So we don't have to update the website every time we add a new show.
So how much confidence do you have in the work that Christina does to create that simple website? If we're not going to be playing, if everything's going to be a link to YouTube, it makes it a lot simpler in that we're not building the website to play things. We're just putting in hooks to go to where that portion of you where it is on YouTube to play.
I'm not familiar with Christina's abilities at website design. We have been working with her at doing some redesign of the look of the two newsletters, and
She picked
I'm
up
happy with
MailChimp.
it.
She picked up MailChimp pretty quickly.
Right. But I'll be happy to talk to her, or you could talk to her if you'd like. But I'm sure there are other people who are in the website design business. They don't necessarily have to reside in this country.
Right.
They could be anywhere in the world. Go to
There could
Fiverr.com or
be this
something.
guy named Claude or
Well, yes,
or
Mike.
others. They could probably do
What
this
about your
too.
friend Claude? Doesn't he design websites?
I had my shot at the website 2 years ago. I'm willing to pass that on to someone else. I had my time in doing all the research on that and dealing with the woman in New Canaan
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
for her
Well,
to get down to her price. I've been
okay.
through that exercise before.
Peter, would you like to take on the website
I will
redesign
invest.
project?
I will take on investigating the options. How's that?
Fair enough. That sounds like a win to me. Um, but I think again, it's the doldrums. It's summer. This would be a great time to start messing around with some of that stuff, so we can unveil for ta-da back to school time.
Um, and other things about soliciting the first selectman's help. When Jim and I appeared in June, they asked if is there anything they could do for us, and one of the things that I suggested to them was to establish a page on the website so that all of the town and Darien TV 79 newsletters would allow subscribers to maintain their own preferences, even though the databases would remain with the town newsletter or our newsletter with MailChimp, or eventually if we went to the library. But it would be one place that people could organize all of their websites. In the proposal, I sent you the copy of the proposal that we sent to the first selectman. Palo Alto was one example that we found that was doing exactly that. So the ball is in their court. As I said at that meeting, as people say, gee, I don't know what's going on in town. We've got 11 newsletters. So it's not a content problem, it's a distribution problem. And we just have to do a better job managing the people who have already subscribed to various newsletters to try to cross-pollinate those while allowing uh, uh, Parks and Rec or Public Works or uh, uh, land management for the POCD. Everyone's got their own newsletters. Well, it's as you saw in that proposal, it really is just one web page that has to be done. And they just add another tab to the Stay Connected feature on the town website. Now, I understand the town website is being considered for a renovation. It was done right before Kate left, and I've heard rumblings that they want to redo it based on some of the meetings where people have complained that you can't find things on the website. So I don't know where that stands, but um, we'll follow up
Sounds
on the
good to
Stay
me.
Connected thing. It's relatively simple. Jim, you want to give a quick update on
Well, before we get
the
to
air?
that, I liked your proposal, and I think that the first selectman is the guy to take it to. How would what you were showing us in that proposal differ from the notify me button on the town website?
You have to proactively go to the website. This would be an email that would be sent out to say manage your preferences, and you would go in
Sort of
and
like constant contact.
yeah, but then it would consolidate all the different websites where that are
Hmm.
hosted, where it's Parks and Rec is on active. The town, we're on MailChimp. The town is on Constant Contact. I can't remember where the others are, but it then links.
WordPress.
In that plan, it explained how to do it.
Okay.
It's they estimated it was a 4 to 8 hour job to do.
Well, especially if they're going to redesign the entire town website, now's the time to get on their wish list, our
Uh,
wish list,
Yeah.
on their wish
Yeah.
list.
The hard part about Notify Me is you have to go in and physically do it, and you really got to be somewhat in tech savvy to do it.
Yeah.
This is,
Yeah, it's
I'm
sort of
sure you've all,
kludgy.
I'm sure you've all seen in the newsletters you get, they all have preferences now when you click on and you pick which newsletters you want from the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, or Axios, or any of them. We're just talking about bringing that technology to the town.
Did you get any reaction from Mr. Zagrodsky yet?
No. Uh, Area 9 and Pura.
Mike, is that something that would fall under Darien TV's scope? Or is
No,
this something that
it's
IT or communications would handle?
it's a town communications
Okay.
project
Yeah.
because we manage ours, uh,
You're
but
just helping coordinate the efforts. Yeah, I understand.
and so you send one email to you send that page Now the town database is bigger than ours for the Friday night newsletters, but they send that page to their subscribers, and subscribers can then go onto that page and choose to subscribe to our newsletters. Or Parks and Rec could send it out to their database and have the town newsletters listed as well as ours. And so their subscribers could go in and choose to subscribe to other various towns' websites without interfering with their database at all. You just have to probably take the first step in the plan. If you saw it at the end, of start with the town website and ours, do as a proof of concept, and then branch out to the others once we do a proof of concept with the two town newsletters and the two DarienTV newsletters, because they're the most current event oriented.
Mike, we're doing some recordings with the First Selectman for Ask the First Selectman next week. And if somebody were to submit a question about how do I find the right newsletter to be able to subscribe to, it might make a very good conversation with the First Selectman.
Well, let me talk to Betty on Oit Street, and
There you go. Sure, fine. Okay, Area 9 in Pura.
yeah.
As I reported to the Board of Selectmen this morning, the Pura case has been grinding on with hearings all summer long. You could watch some of them if you have the time and the patience and the stomach. They've been just, I mean, I couldn't even watch them myself. They're just like impossible.
I watched 20 minutes of one. It was pretty interesting of just
Yeah.
how uninformed, and it was interesting to watch.
Well,
Is there a
Nutmeg is
date? Jim, is there a date when the
August 24
okay, good.
is the initial final report, subject to appeal, but usually they just go through. So August 24. The Cliff Notes version of all this, thanks to AI, my friend Claude, is Pura has been hard on everybody except us necessarily. They've been hard on Nutmeg and not necessarily convinced of what their proposal is as altruistic as they make it out to be. They've been hard on Altice, Optimum, because they're sitting on a studio with no public programming being generated for the public access channel. Now, we're just kind of caught up. The E and G, the educational and the government channels, are caught up in all this because Nutmeg is going for all three, public, educational, and government. And despite them saying, no, we only want the public channel. Area 9 is an intervener in the case, and Hal Levy, who is our chairman of the Area 9 Cable Council, wrote an eloquent presentation and submitted it. So I think we may be the local government station and educational stations, may be the only ones that come out of this thing. I won't say unscathed, but looking pretty good.
Well, we'll know in a month. We'll know
We will know in a month. Stay tuned. You will read about it in the local media. There's one really good newsletter in town that I'm sure you'll hear about it in.
Your public YouTube has replaced public access,
Exactly.
but they all want to protect that franchise fees that are required to be collected, even though there isn't a strong demand to maintain a studio anymore. They do it on YouTube.
Yep.
So it's the one that's still needed is doing the government meetings, but they just want to scoop up all of the different franchise fees in order to build a business.
But as I said to the first selectman today, because he asked the question at the Board of Selectmen meeting, if we lose access to that cable channel 79, what will it do to our programming? And I said very little, because most of our audience is watching us on YouTube, maybe watching us live, but probably watching on demand. He asked the perennial question, how many people watch you on cable? And I went, we have no metrics. We've got the program guide, and we've got Mike's newsletter, which are smoking hot. I mean, we're hitting 1,000 downloads for each, pretty close, each week, which is extraordinary. And to Mike's credit for all the work he's put into that newsletter.
And my
Carrie,
cohort up
thank
there.
you very much,
Carrie.
Carrie.
You
You don't know how many times she's taken my save my butt.
Yeah,
Well,
Jim, I would think the only real risk is the loss of the funding that comes from Area
Right.
9.
well, that's
Yeah.
the point.
Like,
We would lose the funding, and
Right.
Pura was asked specifically, if you take over all the funding for the public educational and government channels, are you going to share any of that with the towns that produce the programming? And they said, no. So we're going to keep doing what we do. I mean, with the exception of what I think is an older demographic that feels more comfortable watching cable than turning on a computer, we may have to do something to educate them as to,
Well, they're
get their
down
grandchild to come over and teach them how to use
Altice
it.
is down to 35% penetration, and so
Is it still that high? Wow.
huh?
It's
30,
still
that's
that high?
high.
Yeah, they're still about 30. They're still about 35 to 40%.
Wow.
Um, but so there's 65 that aren't, that have cut the cord and don't even have cable. So, and that percentage is only going to get less and less, unless they come up with some unique new marketing.
So any questions about the Pura case? Stay tuned.
Budget and programming. You have a new budget as of July 1.
Yes, we do. We have a fresh start. Let me tell you how we wound out the year, though, because that's where the news is. We ended the 2025 to 26 fiscal year having spent, according to my calculations, $24,775 on videographers, compared to the year before that, which was 28,741. So mid-year, we realized we were in a bit of a budget crunch, and with Mike's and Lois's help, we decided to move all RTM meeting coverage to Zoom. So we've been saving a chunk of money on that. Now, I got a bunch of videographers, well-trained, very dedicated, hungry for money, and they're just not getting any work. Well, it's the summer, but I'm warning them all. There's not going to be a lot of work in the fall if we move forward with this, especially with the redesign plan as well too. So we did okay in terms of budget. I talked to the finance director today. We were a little bit over budget, but we have enough money from Area 9 that we've been setting aside to pay for videographers that we could probably go a year without having a special, funding announcement from the town. But could you cut that part out of the meeting there, Mike, as well too? On the programming side, we covered all of the America 250 stuff. We were up at the Museum of Darien for the reenactment. We were up at the Mather Homestead. We had 2 camera shoots on both of those. And Tyler Stimson, who is an extraordinary producer on our staff, works half-time at the library, works for us as well too. He put together a bunch of good shows. He's the one that's responsible for all the promos on how to watch YouTube at higher speed, all the, town stuff, the visits to the beach and through the woods and things. Really good work. So I was really happy with how that turned out. As we said, Vimeo we will have to pay for another year of Vimeo, which I think is $900 a year starting in September. But we have already paid for the router as part of the DNR proposal under the Area 9 funding. And we've also paid for another year of Castus support as well, too. So any questions on budget? Great. Thank you.
A lot of credit goes to the RTM committee chairs and their deputies who actually had to do the recordings.
Yep.
They had to learn how to do it twice because we upgraded the system. So most of them had to go through the training twice. But they really stepped up. And of all the meetings we did, there was only one that was missed. So they did a remarkable job.
And I can honestly say I have received no negative feedback whatsoever about the coverage of those meetings done on Zoom as opposed to a 3-camera shoot with human beings. So
And I told you some of
close enough for government work, right?
some of the older folks did not like the
That's right.
close-ups.
No close-ups.
Did not like the close-ups.
I keep texting the videographers. I want to recognize a face in that room. Look for the guy with the suntan at the advisory committee on coastal waters. So that's all I have for you, Mr. Chairman.
Anybody else have anything to add in new business since this is not a special meeting? All right, we will look to have a special meeting when I hear from you, Peter, to just go over the general outline of the rebuild, and I'll reach out to Sarah tomorrow about their fall agenda to try to find out to get a date.
Awesome.
Great. Motion
All
to
right.
adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the summer.
You too, guys. Take care.
Thanks.